or they try to.
Welcome to the Pittsburgh Business Version, where we interview successful business owners to educate the virgin segment of the population who are thinking about starting their own businesses. I'm your host, Brad Hilbert, president of Three Rivers Wealth Management Group.
Hi, I'm Brian Klaus, and I'd like to welcome today's guest, Dr. DrBrash, who is the owner of Brash Chiropractics, located on Route 8 in Allison Park. Dr. Brash has been bringing relief to his patients for over 12 years. After spending some time working in an already established practice, Darren decided to open Brash Chiropractic, a private practice specializing in providing a superior form of treatment for his patients. Brash Chiropractic utilizes many methods of treatment to enhance traditional chiropractic needs, including electric stimulation, massage therapy, and physical rehab practices. Today you're going to hear how Darren took a leap of faith in himself and started his own private practice. He will share some of his personal experiences in navigating the sometimes overwhelming prospect of being a business owner and how he sets himself apart from his field. With that being said, Darren, welcome to Three Rivers Wealth Management Group and our production of the Pittsburgh Business Version.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, Darren. I appreciate you spending the time. We know time is the only commodity that we get to really control, and we appreciate you spending a lot of time with us this morning. Hey, the first question, Darren, that I had for you when you looked at your business, and I think Brian did a great job of really talking about sort of the evolution of you starting with a practice prior and then starting your own practice. So the first question I had was, how'd you come up with the decision to break out and really go on your own? Because you always hear the term leap of faith that, you know, a lot of times when people do it, and I know for me personally when I started Three Rivers, it was certainly a leap of faith. You didn't know how it was going to turn out. So how'd you come to that decision? When you know, what was the moment that you came to the decision? What were the factors behind it?
Well, that's a very good question. I think.
Thank you, Darren.
As you go through the, well, I actually had a guy tell me that I'll know the moment when I need to jump out on my own. He had done it, and I said, when will I know when I need to open my own practice? He goes, you'll just know. And I never really just knew, you know, so that never came about. But it started off with me working for somebody, initially trying to get some experience, not knowing how long that relationship would last. Turned into a much longer relationship than I anticipated. It was almost 10 years.
Wow, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, so that time I think became an advantage to one aspect, the weakness to the other, because you kind of get into your comfort zone, and the longer you're at some place, it's harder to kind of make that move. But I think I started to establish a different vision for what I wanted my patients to have. I listened to what the patients' needs were, some of their suggestions, and I think the office that I was at, it just wasn't conducive for that vision, that evolution that I wanted to.
Well, expand on that, though. What I guess, because I think that's really important for a lot of, quote-unquote, our business virgins out there, is that they are working for a company. There's maybe some things that they would like to do that they couldn't do because of the parameters of that company. I know that really, for me, Darren, that was the most important thing that made me leave my prior firm after 12. So you got me beat. You stayed for 10. I stayed for 2 weeks shy of 12. But for me, I wanted to deliver a certain level of service and comprehensive approach to mainly to small business owners. So what were some of the specific things that you saw that you needed and you couldn't deliver at your prior firm?
I think the practice itself, the physical size of it was kind of small, so I was limited on the space. And the specific things I wanted to deliver were massage therapy, some of the physiotherapeutic modalities, electric stim machines. I've got all kind of tables that do cool things for your body to make you feel good. And I kind of wanted to turn it more into a chiropractic sort of spa-like environment, and not being the business owner and just being the employee. I was limited on the ideas that I really wanted to enforce, and I just wanted more. It became a little bit boring and stale, and I think that's when I knew I needed to move on and do some exciting things.
Did you try? I mean, did you try to implement this with the gentleman prior? Were you kind of was he a little bit more old school and kind of wanted to stick to what he had been doing for? a long time?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think some people, when they go into business, there's two ways of looking at it. If something works, you continue to do it. But on the flip side, you have to evolve with the times too. And I think every successful business changes and updates, whether it's the product or the ambiance of the business itself. So yeah, I tried to incorporate some of that, and it was just, I think, time for me to grow up and have my own place.
Yeah, so someone said something to me, and then I'll turn it over to Brian. But someone said something to me a long time ago when I started in the business world, and you know, it's not a Lou Holtz dynamic quote. He just simply said, you're either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. So you're either growing or dying. So you're either pushing it to go to the next level, or you're on your way out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And you said, the one thing you said before was you would know when it was time to make that move. But obviously finances come into play. How did you start out? How did you get the funding for the business? And how would you recommend somebody that's in a similar position? They know it's time to get moving with their process. How would you recommend that they go about funding?
Well, my best advice to anybody out there who's trying to do this, you have to give it time. You have to have patience. I think one of the mistakes a lot of people make in business is that they open up a business because they have this idea that they're going to get rich quick overnight, and a sense of urgency. And so you need time. You need time to get experience in the business that you're in, number one, so that you can provide a service that is going to be valuable to people. Secondly, you need money. For me personally, I invested in some assets, some real estate that I knew that down the road I could liquidate if I needed to have creative strategy. So the entire time I worked, I knew that there would probably come a day when I would have to cross that bridge to open my own practice. I lived way below my means and saved money. So for me personally, it mostly came out of my own pocket. There's an SBA, small business group, that you can get some advice on that can do some loans through some institutions for those that may not have the money to do so. Also, with the services that you guys provide here, it might not be a bad idea for somebody to ask one of the professionals like yourselves to say, okay, what can I do to make my money grow, keep it liquid at the same time? And that was my biggest concern, was my fear of locking my money away into long-term accounts. And I think that's kind of where the relationship with you and I just developed even more strongly now, Brian, because I feel more comfortable with being able to take money and put it into other avenues. But up to that point, I wanted everything to sort of be liquid, so that when I need to cross that bridge.
Do you guys want a couple of minutes? Alone? No, first of all, thank you very much, and I know Brian probably appreciates the compliment as well, and certainly we appreciate the plug. Thank you very much.
Give me $20 behind the back there.
All right, great segment, Darren. Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break. Once again, to contact Darren and get a hold of him, and once again, he's got massage, PT, physical therapy, as well as chiropractic services. Give his office a call at 724-443-4488. Darren Brash. You can also jump on Google, Darren Brash, and that's BRASH, and look him up on Google. Thank you so much. Great segment, and we'll come right back.
Because you can't print your own money without going to the Slammer. Three Rivers Wealth Management Group, in Pittsburgh for Pittsburghers. TRWMG.com. That's TRWMG.com.